Hello, I'm a dude in a garage, and I would like to tell you that I think there's a very high probability that a lot of people are going to be awakened this fall through spiritual experiences. They're going to start seeing signs and whatnot. I'm sure it'll happen for Christians, but I'm more focused on people who are not believers yet. We're living in a very weird time, and it's looking like the general consensus for what's happening as a reaction to all the weirdness that's going on in the world is called the Great Awakening. I was awakened in early 2021. I was atheist or agnostic. The term atheism is kind of problematic, so. But I wasn't a believer. I didn't identify as such. My wife and I actually, part of our bonding was in that we were not believers. We kind of judged Christians and thought they were deluding themselves. And then we started seeing massive signs repeatedly, seemingly daily. And they couldn't be refuted. I'm an engineer. I studied math and physics, and this stuff was statistically impossible. Using known physics, known understanding of probability, like the stuff happened that couldn't have been described by anything other than the supernatural. At the beginning, I didn't know anything about Christ. I didn't even look in that direction. I didn't know who was interacting with me. And later I found out that many different people, spirits, were interacting with me. When I say I didn't know Christ, I mean, turns out I did, because part of my awakening was I kept talking about Christ. I pressed play on a pastor talking on YouTube, and for some reason I was just, almost every sentence I was pointing out to my wife about how he was wrong. And it made no sense because I hadn't read the Bible. So anyway, I'm a realistic person, so I thought maybe I'm just going nuts. I thought that's probably one of the most likely explanations for all this, but using logic, I was able to find out that that's not the case. So I think that this fall, more people are going to experience that. Fall is a time when Archangel Michael is very active, and Archangel Michael is in charge of large-scale cultural changes. There are other circumstantial things that I think could go along with this, such as big news events that shatter people's worldviews. I think that played a big role with me, all the COVID stuff and other things that were going on in the world, news events. Having your worldview shattered, I think, helps a lot in finding God. So it could happen through that. Say people start to become aware of vaccine issues. YouTube just changed their rules to say that we're now allowed to talk about that. We can just, before you would get banned from YouTube. But they just released Politico released an article blaming Trump for the vaccines, and you would have never seen anything negative about vaccines for the past year and 2 years in the mainstream media. Now you have, and at the same time, YouTube changed their rules. So it could be something like that, where they realize that they see the evil in the world. And when you see the evil in the world, you then realize there must also be good. So I want to help you field questions or concerns when someone close to you has these experiences. I was excited to start talking to Christians when this happened because, like I said, we kind of judged them. And when we realized that people already knew, we thought people knew. We're like, oh man, we're going to have a whole community of people to talk to about this weird stuff that's going on. We started talking to some Christians, and that was not the case. They were not welcoming. They were fake welcoming. They were fake understanding. They were fake open, but no. They basically all think that I'm permeated with Satan. Although sometimes they say Lucifer. And they don't know really what either of those terms mean. One of my first experiences was talking to Satan, but he was pretending to be God. So at the time, I thought I was talking to God. I had a full body euphoria, kind of an orgasmic feeling through my whole body, and I had that many times before. I had talked to real God but a few times leading up to that. So Satan made it feel the same way. Luckily, this time, I thought to ask, how do I know you're God? And at that moment, it became very clear that that was not God. I thought to ask because it felt slightly different. I'll get into that maybe in a different video, but so I guess that's probably the first tip, is if someone close to you or you yourself end up having an actual conversation with a spirit, for whatever reason, they can't lie about their identity. So if you ask them, are you God? They're going to go away. And at that moment, you'll probably see God's working within you. I'll talk about it another time. But I didn't know at the time that is in the Bible, that I believe the Bible says to ask the Spirit, who is God, or did Jesus die on the cross for us, for our sins, or there's some wording in the Bible that you probably want to look that up and ask with the precise words. But for me, asking, are you God? How do I know you're God is what I asked. And that worked for me. But the main thing I want to get across is be accepting of someone who comes to you talking about a spiritual experience. Don't automatically think that it's Satan. The reason you're going to think that is because they're going to say things that are really weird. The reason they're going to say things that are really weird is because they actually have seen things that someone who has been a biblical scholar their whole lives has not. Why is it that there are multiple denominations of Christianity? Why are there different churches? The reason is they have different opinions on the meaning of the Bible. Why do they have different opinions? They have the different opinions because it's hard to understand the Bible. Nobody understands the Bible. You don't understand the Bible. I don't understand the Bible. The Bible can only be understood with a spiritual lens, with guidance. It's designed that way. If you don't think that's true, then tell me what did John mean when he said something like, the light traveled in the darkness and the darkness knew it not? How confident are you in your understanding of that line? How confident are you in your understanding of the book of the Revelation? It's a crazy book. I guarantee you don't get it. So when someone comes to you saying weird things, don't judge them. The best thing to do is get excited with them. Be happy. I mean, you want your child to find God, right? So it's not going to look like the way it went for you. Because, I mean, I don't know. I've been to a few churches since this happened, and I look around, and it's mostly old people. Young people have problems with authority, especially thinking ones, because we've been lied to. I'm not saying I'm a young person. I have a very gray beard, obviously, but young people have been lied to for a long time. At the same time, they've had truth machines in their pockets where they can check the older people on their lies, who don't know they're lying because they lied to themselves about everything. I'm not just talking about God. So authority-based churching is not going to work for them. They need some evidence. There's no meat in church for them. They see empty words and people pretending to believe. This is how it looks to them. But I do think that they're going to be served up some meat soon, and there are two ways that this can go wrong for them easily. At the beginning, they may not even think to talk to Christ or anything like that. At that time, they can, if they believe in themselves too much, if they think they have everything figured out, and that kind of comes with this, you kind of feel arrogant, like everyone else is stupid. That is the Luciferic path. If you get mad at your child or friend for not seeing Christianity the way you do, they could rebel. And if they rebel, you're handing them to Lucifer. If they shut down and lose interest in spirituality, if you make them feel stupid, then and they become an atheist again, you're handing them to Satan. If you didn't know they're different, then you shouldn't judge them, because there might be other things you don't know. I'm in this hot garage right now because my wife's family's visiting, and they're longtime Christians, and I don't want them to hear me making this video, because every Christian who hears me talk about the Bible gets very uncomfortable. They act understanding and they act loving, but I can tell they just think I'm permeated with Satan or Lucifer. They don't really differentiate. It's a style choice for them which one they want to say. But be open-minded, be accepting, and really the best thing to do is to open your own mind and realize you can learn something from these people. you're being awakened, you are suddenly very sensitive to other people and what they're thinking and feeling. And you can kind of see their thoughts and feelings before they can, and they don't know them. A lot of people don't know themselves, so they're not honest with themselves about themselves. So let's say you just try to be polite and you get quiet, or I don't know, like, you have to feel loving. You have to feel love for the person. You don't want to show them love because they're going to see right through that. A show is an act. It's external. It's not spiritual. You actually want to feel love, and then the show of love will handle itself. Don't act interested. Feel interested in what they're saying, because it's very interesting stuff. It doesn't matter how crazy it is. Like, I mean, if someone in your life has a spiritual experience after you've watched this video, it's got to be super interesting to you when it happens. So feel interested, don't act interested. In general, don't act around them. Feel positive towards them. I'm going to make more videos probably. Subscribe, or I don't know. Yeah, do that. Subscribe. And I'll make more videos. I'm going to try and help people decipher signs and just, I don't know, do what I can for God. Don't know what else to say, but thanks for watching.